Now open the meeting of December 7th, 2023, council meeting.
Martin Howe.
Present.
Will Hyman.
Present.
Mark Jackson.
Here.
Wayne Work.
Here.
Hattie Wright. Vice Mayor Riffle.
Here.
Mayor Malcolm.
Present.
This evening we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Work.
You bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we come here today, a great crowd here, great group of concerned citizens, and a great group of members of council up here. Please let us have, great discussion on the affairs of the city and help us make the best decisions possible. I know not every decision, will bode well with everyone, but just look over us, Lord, to make the best decision possible that'll meet the needs of all of our citizens. Also, Lord, as we go into the holiday season, please help us remember what this season is all about. It's your Son, Jesus. And help us strive to be a reflection of his love in the world. In his name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, our business recognition is James Law. If members of James Law will come forward along with our mayor, and vice mayor, and Councilmember Ward.
All right, a little bit about James and Law. The James and Law Company is a result of the 1905 merger between the James Shepherd Company, 1903, and the A.S. Law Company in 1899. Mr. James and Mr. Law set out from the beginning to provide their customers with the best selection of products and services available. While their product offerings have changed over the last 125 years, their customer quality products and impeccable service remains steadfast. Since 1912, James Law has provided textbook depository service to school districts in West Virginia. In the beginning, James Law provided the materials of 14 publishers and now acts as an in-state distribution agent for over 50 publishers of K-12 education programs. The gift shop of old is gone, along with the athletic equipment and photography and framing departments. However, James & Long continues to provide office furniture, office and school supplies, as well as West Virginia books, coin supplies, and American-made flags. The office furniture department combines decades of design and installation experience and over 10,000 square feet of physical display to provide its customers a stress-free experience when it comes to expanding, moving, or just changing their office environment.
He retired, but he should be up here.
Please. Thank you. City of Clarksburg Certificate of Appreciation. The certificate is presented to James Law in recognition and sincere appreciation for your 100+ years of business in the city of Clarksburg. Thank you for being an integral part of the city of Clarksburg's unique small town charm and enhancing our community that so many of us proudly call home.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
That may not last 125 years.
You're with her. You handed it to the right girl. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Christmas.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Sure. Very well. Good. Thanks, sir. Merry Christmas. Merry
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Mike Friesa wishes to address council concerning Buchanan Avenue.
What's the saying that the first shall be last and the last shall be first? Good evening. I think I know most of y'all here on City Council. I'm just coming as a concerned citizen about this situation, the wall. I'm friends with Mr. Keeley and also Mr. Lane, but a little familiar with the law in regard to property laws. And I'm not a lawyer, but I've dealt with it in the past. Haven't been around 125 years like James in law, but I've been around the block a time or two. And I think City Council's constitution and based on the state, which I think is based primarily on the federal constitution. And there's a clause in there, something that says regard what's referred to as the takings clause. And then in this case, I think, it's a public property and very simply put, it has been taken for private use. And I think that's wrong. And I think the city needs to adhere to all the constitutional aspects of this situation. And as infamous words were once said, either the city or Mr. Lane should take down that wall. Thank you.
Jack Healy, 336 Buchanan Avenue, wishes to address council concerning 317 Buchanan Avenue.
Thank you, and I've been here, I was here 3 weeks ago. Being here tonight, I'd like to say James and Law, it wouldn't be Clarksburg without James and Law here. 3 weeks since I've been here, last meeting, and I'm surprised that nothing has happened to the wall since then. I know that it's on the city's property and it's a matter of commitment. I think the city manager could simply give a nod to council over here and he would take that issue to the court, which would be quickly rectified. More important, the safety issue is so much that it's such a hazard and narrow place in the street there with the wall being right on top of the curb and 5 to 6 feet off the property line onto the city's property, that it's eminent, it's really important to get that back before winter sets in, before we have something really bad happen up there. And I would encourage the city to use their pliers, give a nod to your zoning group, and they'll be able to remove that wall, because that's what should happen with something that's put on city property without authorization for it. And it was put up there. I know I came back from Florida last year and they started building that wall in the middle of the street. What's going on here? And they put it right out on the curb, and I thought, this is just so wrong. But it's been months now. It's been half a year. And it needs to be removed. And it's important for you people to do what's right for the city of Clarksburg. Get that off the city property. Put it on his property. There's nothing wrong with the wall if it's on his property. I thank you for your time.
Larry Palumbo, 217 Buchanan Avenue, wishes to address council concerning the same issue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. Regarding the wall, my question concerns the safety of the public with that wall. So my question is, what happens when we get a foot of snow or 2 feet of snow? Where does the snow go when they plow it? You can't stack it in the yard anymore. It's going to hit the wall and stay there. So you're going to impede traffic. And if there's cars on the other side, then you can't get two cars by each other. And you never see anybody parking on that side of the street. And there's no signs that say no parking, but if somebody has a get together, there's no reason why people can't park on that side of the street where the wall is. So, except for you can't park and open the door if the wall's there. And there's no reason, there's a lot of walls in the city, but most of those are set back 3-4 feet off the right of way of the street for snow stacking. And if the roads are bad, a lot of times, and this has happened to me before, not here in Morgantown, when the roads get icy, you need a place to bail out if you have to get off the street or run up on the sidewalk. And with that wall there, you just don't have the option to do that. Thank you.
Pike and Main Streets update.
Gentlemen from the Department of Highways want to come up and make your presentation, please?
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members, for allowing us to come up and speak. I know there's some questions about what the state has what's our intentions for Main Street, Pike Street, with the paving and all that. This has been an issue that has went on for several years. Let me first tell you guys that with Mrs. Fell's help, we finally got some things taken care of. She's been tremendous to work with. Your superintendent of public works, John Workman, of all the municipalities we deal with in District 4, I want to tell you guys have a great asset back there. That being said, a couple of things that held us back. For the last 6 years, I have tried to get Main Street, East Pike, and Main Street paved. One of the biggest issues we came up with was the ADA compliant sidewalks. I don't know if you guys are aware, but when we paved John? We paved the Pike Street section about 6 years ago, and we were supposed to follow that up with East Main. Federal government came in and said absolutely not until the sidewalks are ADA compliant, which always runs into an issue because the state maintains the curb to curb, and then the sidewalk falls on the city's responsibility and became this great big giant gray area. We got some federal money, was able to go ahead and upgrade the crosswalks. That being said, the final phase of that is supposed to be let out. It's supposed to start construction in the spring of 2024, and that would be completed by the fall, and that's going to take care of everything from Monticello to the Hardys. The other thing that came into that interrupted our plans of paving was the water lines and the sewer projects that you guys have going on. Last thing we want to do is put this large investment into the streets and then have it cut up and tore up, and nobody wants to see that. So that's where Ms. Fell came in, and we've worked with Thrasher and all the utilities, and we've got a schedule now. I've been told that schedule was pretty well set. Therefore, we went ahead and submitted the paving project, and as it stands right now, we submitted everything in one lump sum. So the first section to be paved is going to be from Menards all the way down to the Triangle at Wendy's. That would take care of Pike Street. And then from the Triangle all the way back up to Hardys. And then we'll also do the 20 connector, which is what you guys could call Oak Street. All that will be done, and it's going to be one project. That is scheduled to be, we're going to let it in August of 2025 and push to have that done that fall. That would be the final phase or July is whenever the final phase of the construction, I think it was a phase 2 or phase 3, which would allow us to do the paving. So in other words, everything in Clarksburg should be taken care of by spring of 2026, everything should be done. Okay. Now that being said, keep in mind, we have submitted that, the plans are drawn up. Right now, the funding's there, but who knows? I mean, you're talking 2 years. So administration changes, something major happens, that could possibly change. But if it does, I will let Ms. Bell know immediately. But right now, it's pretty well set in stone that it's going to be done. Okay. From the local side of it and the planning side of it, we've dotted our I's and crossed the T's and submitted everything. So we're on schedule to have that done. Do you guys have any questions for us as Department of Highways?
I have a few questions, and they may be somewhat off topic. Can you give us an update on the Second Avenue on-ramp?
Second, you
one
mean
under
the
Parkway
bridge?
Yeah.
The last I heard, okay, understand it, I'm with the operations side, that goes to our construction side and our bridge design. There was an inspection on it, there was some damage to the one lane. They was looking at, we're waiting on some engineering reports back to say whether or not it's safe. That bridge, the structure of that is structurally sound. However, it's been struck multiple times.
Sure.
So we want to take extra caution before we open that up for traffic. We don't want someone to get hurt. It hasn't been that many years ago, we had a company come in and they actually heated the beam and straightened it up. So we want to make sure that everything is structurally sound before we open it up. But the minute we get the engineering reports back and we get it, it's clear to go, I will let somebody know. If someone wants to reach out to me, I mean, I will keep you up to date. I have no problem with that. But as of right now, there is no set date when we're opening it. Okay?
I have one question, and this is probably the same. Has there been any discussion about US 50 and I-79 interchange becoming a divergent diamond? That was apparently part of Road to Prosperity. You know, we've had some questions about it here at council.
There was some confusion on that. The way that was sent out as a possible proposed job. Okay, it was never something that was designed or programmed or money set aside for. That was a proposed job, that basically a wish list. If we could have anything in this area, what do we want? That was one of the things that we have all strived for. They continue to come up with different designs and different ideas. It's still being tossed around, but it's a very complicated situation because you've got multiple property owners, you've got multiple municipalities, you've got federal guidelines, you've got state guidelines, you've got a lot of things wrapped into there. It is still how do I say it? It's a possibility. They are looking into it, but until there was nothing set in stone. There was nothing that's concrete that I can come to you guys and say, here's what it is.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So we're waiting until 2025. From the state office building down Main Street and up, it's getting pretty rough. Will that be just patched, or will it be?
We will continue to patch that and maintain that until time for us to mill up and pave.
Because it's starting to get pretty rough again.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name's Earl Gaskins. I'm from the district of District 4. The gentleman behind me, Joe Purnell, he is our Harrison County Administrator. I probably should have done that from the beginning. This is the county seat of Harrison County, and we try to make sure that we focus on Clarksburg. We are getting constant talks with the asphalt plants. Generally, they open up in March. They're talking about staying open year-round this year, which would be a tremendous help for us. In the past, it was like March 15th before we could even get asphalt to patch anything. But Greer has said they want to make every attempt to stay open. Route 20, downtown Clarksburg, one of the first roads that we do patch, and we will continue to patch it. I talk to John quite often. If there's a problem, a pothole appears or a sinkhole, then he'll contact Joe and we'll take care of it immediately. But you're not going to see any kind of major paving or anything until we get to this, because there's so much money investment in this, it's going to be hard I can't justify coming in and paving a small block. Does that make sense? But we will maintain it to the best of our ability.
And Council, the reason why the Department of Highways is back as well is when this was presented last time, the plan was a bit different, that those ADA sidewalks, that section of road wasn't actually going to be done at all. With the Department of Highways, we met again. They were able to move everything around. Now there's going to be those ADA compliant sidewalks, and the entire paving project is going to be completed on the same timeline now, which is good news for the city.
Yeah, there's been a lot of confusion with that because it was going to be submitted in two different projects on 2 different years. And when they reached it, because we was unclear on when your guys' water line and sewer line upgrades would be taken care of. With that being clarified and that being having a set schedule, we was able to go ahead and do everything up in one lump sum.
You mentioned that there's a chance, maybe a small chance, that it could get pushed back or it may not. Different administration. What can we do as a city to try to prevent that? Because I mean, appreciate the update and everything, but I know, and you're being honest, in which I appreciate that. but a lot of people will hear there's a chance that it might not happen. And then as a council, we will hear that and we will get the negativity that says it's not going to happen, or they'll say other cities or make it happen. They do the other cities first. So what can we do as a city to
I
even
would-
more make that?
Not to interrupt you, I would encourage you guys to continue to talk to your local politicians, your delegates, your senators, how this job is. This is something that has been in the governor's lap for many years, and it's something we wanted to address. You know, back, Senator Mando pushed on this really hard, the delegate Kimball has pushed on it, the county commissioners, Patsy Treecross, Susan Thompson, all these people have put bugs in Charleston's ear. What I don't want to tell you that it's definitely being done, because every time I do that, administration changes or I-77 blows up and we got to spend money to fix that. So I can't tell you that for sure it's there. What I'm telling you is short of any major catastrophe, it's going to happen. You as a city, just stay on touch. You keep in touch with us and keep everybody informed the best we can do, because unfortunately, if this was pulled, it would take it's going to be a major incident for this to happen, to not be able to be performed. I don't know what to tell you, because I can't predict the future, but we're talking 2 years out. I know right now the money is there. Right now, you know, with the project, it's one of the major, like, every year we send in what we're going to pave. Route 20's been on there. Now it's at the top of the list. Money, it's something like $4 million has been set aside for this project. I know that doesn't answer your question, and there really is nothing I can tell you, because if Charleston changes their mind or something happens and I find out about it, there's nothing we can do. Locally, we've done everything on our power to do it. Just like I said, stay with one of your politicians.
One thing is, so have you heard of the Project 98 extension?
Yes.
Okay, have you heard anything about that? Is that just dead? I mean, I know it's on I've read about it. It was mentioned at one point. Is there any chance of that?
It's not dead, but it's definitely slowed down. If one of the biggest things right now in this area that they're focused on is the split diamond on Route 50 and I-79. The first major upgrade is going to be that. That being said, there's a lot of other things going on statewide that's preventing that. So again, I'm not the planning division, but I would say that down there, probably the highest priority is the split diamond rather than 98 extension.
Anybody else have questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Typically what I do in the meetings, I know there's a lot of questions from the public and all that. If you guys don't mind, I'll leave a notebook, and any concerns or questions that you guys may have or the public has, fill it out after the meetings. I know you guys are busy, and if you would, you or somebody forward that to me later on.
Yeah, you can leave it on the table over there. That would be lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City manager's report.
So we'll start with the city parks. Staff has been taking comp vacation time during this year as the skeleton crew is on and it's slowed down for the season. There's small projects that are going on and they will be starting in 2024. The bid process for the pickleball project, neighborhood park installation and improvements, as well as scheduling for concerts in 2024. Boxing in the Berg is an event in February at the indoor facility for local and tri-state boxing. Under code enforcement, there's been 21 building permits, total job cost just over $126,000, and we've collected just over $1,700 in permit fees. And he's listed below there all the different items they've been working on over the last few weeks. The city engineer has been reviewing demolition candidate properties. That has to do with our land bank as well, and the grant that we will be receiving, working on the Liberty Avenue slip and the bridge project. Economic development, so staff has been involved with the U.S. Department of Transportation training related to the safe streets. The Urban Renewal Authority will be meeting December 14th for a 2024 programming workshop to establish future redevelopment priorities. And staff attended the most recent Abandoned Properties Coalition monthly meeting with other jurisdictions and discussed concerns and challenges regarding West Virginia State Auditor-based tax sale process. That tax sale is supposed to happen in the first quarter of 2024. Staff will be evaluating 2024 funding opportunities and projects in the coming weeks to further the 2022 comprehensive plans, goals, and objectives. This information will be provided to the city manager prior to the upcoming budget meetings. In finance, there's been a number of collections, and the biggest is obviously B&O is just close to $600,000. The fire department, he said his update this month is very short. They've responded to 247 calls to service, and the police department has responded to 1,584 calls for service in October. Officer of the Month for August 2023, Sergeant Jason Bartlett. For September 2023 is Patrolman Jonah Corbin, and November 2023, Patrolman Chapin Perky. The police department would like to remind citizens during the shopping season to please keep your vehicles locked and try to put packages in the trunk. Make sure your purses are secured. Just take your extra precautions when you're out. Public Works has been replacing sanitary issues, replacing sanitary lines. They've responded to sewer calls. They're doing camera and line work. They've secured vacant property. They've picked up just over 18,000 pounds of yard waste and processed just over 19,000 pounds of yard waste and sold 10,000 pounds of compost. They've answered after hours pages as well. The Robinson Grand Performing Arts for December is listed on our website. We just had our Winterfest Christmas Parade, which is great. They have their Die Hard movie, Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute contest, the Shinston Community Band concert, the St. Mary's Grade School Christmas performance, and a couple of private events as well. Those are all listed on the robinsongrand.com. And the wastewater treatment plant, the discharge monitoring report will be submitted for the month of November with no violations to report. And a reminder to the public to please not flush baby wipes or flushable wipes down the drains. They do not dissolve and could cause blockages in the sewer line as well as damage to the pumps.
Unfinished business. Consideration of second and final reading and public hearing of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg, West Virginia, approving city manager entering into a memorandum of understanding with County Commission of Harrison County. Notices regarding the public hearing appeared in the Exponent Telegram on November the 28th and December the 5th.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion?
So is it correct to say the county did table this item?
They did.
They
Do
did.
we understand why?
We do. They just want some clarification. They want to make sure they have the right amount of staffing for doing the election together. And they just want to have a little further discussion because this hasn't been done before. They want to make sure we're able to facilitate it properly with no issues. And that's pretty much why they tabled it. I believe it was also because there was actually one commissioner who couldn't make it to the meeting.
Didn't have a quorum?
They had a quorum.
I believe two of them attended virtually, and there was only one present. I believe all three members were there from what I read in the paper this morning. So,
No,
I don't think. I think there was only.
2 out of 3 were there virtually or in person.
really, papers made it sound like all were there except for the other two were virtually. But I digress.
That's the paper.
It wasn't him.
Any other
Yeah,
discussion
about this. So since the county has tabled this for, I guess, more clarification, if we're gonna vote for this memorandum of understanding, then that's voting for the memorandum of understanding that we presented to the county, right? So I mean, why wouldn't we table it until we could get that straightened out?
That's more discussion. Just to let you know.
So from our perspective, working with our city clerk and the lawyer, everything in that memorandum of understanding is very clearly laid out. If they have more questions, a meeting can be set up. Whether this memorandum of understanding is passed or not, there's still going to be an election. What this actually equates to is a cost saving for the tax base, right? That's what it does. You're combining 2 elections. So instead of having 2 separate elections where you have to pay the poll workers twice on 2 separate days, it's really just making it more efficient. council passing this, if the county decides not to, you're still having an election. So voting on it today doesn't really make a difference. Those conversations and clarifications can be made. It's up to council what you would like to do. I don't see a purpose to table it.
I mean, could they even
We
vote
are
on it?
we are
without
on a
us voting on it
deadline.
First?
Pardon me?
They couldn't even vote on it unless we vote on it first, right? If we're not even in agreement that we would be open to understanding, then they could vote on it in the first place. I mean, somebody's got to vote on it first, right?
Could you explain to maybe me, I didn't clearly understand you, but you're saying if they don't agree on it, we're still going to have an election, but then who's operating the election?
We do.
Okay, so,
And it won't be on the same day.
well, would that not violate what was passed?
It would not violate what was passed. There's supposed to be an election in 2024. That has been voted on and passed. I got a opinion from the Secretary of State on that. There is going to be an election in 2024. The question is it going to be on two separate days? And is the tax base, realistically, the tax base is going to pay twice for an election? Or is it going to be combined and the resources are going to be funneled into one day?
I guess my first question is, what's stopping us from having the election on the same day, even if the county agrees or disagrees?
There may be a lack of accessibility of poll workers.
Okay.
We may not be able
I mean, couldn't they technically, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs, but would it be possible for them to work both elections? I mean,
that's what we're
somebody
trying
would
to
come
do.
in and they would say, okay, here's the county ballot or the state ballot for the primary election, and here's the city ballot. That'd be two separate ballots.
You could do two separate ballots with this MOU. That's exactly the question.
Mm-hmm.
I know the
Or
state.
you mean without the MOU, correct?
Right.
Okay.
The state is looking to have this happen, combine elections. It's efficient and it's more cost effective to the tax base.
Mr. Marsh, is there something prevents us from having the election on the May primary without the help of the county?
No. I think it's ultimately what we'll probably end up doing.
Is it within the understanding of the charter amendments that passed twice? Is it possible to have the election on June, the first Tuesday in June, like we have been, if we cannot or physically can't have the election in May?
The election is going to be on the primary date.
I guess my concern is, moving forward is, we're in the first meeting in December, and it seems like we should be codifying an ordinance to establish the dates of the election, establish the dates of the filing periods for January. And my concern is now that we've kind of pinned ourselves into a corner of not being able to do that without having a special meeting sometime after Christmas.
If this doesn't get rectified with the county, I will be speaking with the mayor to call a special meeting because there are deadlines that we have to meet as a city.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Yeah.
So one more point of clarification that I have done. So if the county has tabled the MOU of ours and we haven't even passed it, I mean, we voted for it in first reading. So my question is then, if we don't even have an MOU passed,
then you hold an election.
Why is the county even reading the MOU and voting on whether they should table it or not?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
So we voted on first reading,
right?
Okay, to pass the MOU, or at least put it to second reading.
Right.
Okay, the county commission has a meeting, right? This is from what I understand.
Yeah, they have weekly meetings.
They have weekly meetings.
Right.
They voted to table our MOU. That has not been. We're in discussion phase right now. We're about to have a vote on this.
Right.
So it hasn't even been passed, but they're still voting on our MOU or tabling our MOU. I mean,
right.
I just need some clarification. I mean, how does that work?
So when you vote on it, if the vote goes through, it's supposed to be on their agenda next week to vote on. If it goes through, then the resources are used jointly for the election. If they vote it down, an election is held in 2024, everything is done independently.
Because from what I understand is that they're tabling it, not because they're waiting for passage on second reading.
No, that's not why.
They're tabling it because there's some issues with it.
There's not issues, there's questions.
Okay,
Concerns.
questions.
There's
One of
questions.
their concerns, I've spoken to 2 of the 3 county commissioners, and one of them's concern was manpower
Okay.
at the courthouse. And that commissioner said if they're guaranteed that, they're voting for it. So,
Okay. All right.
They have to vote once, not twice.
They only have to vote once.
All right.
any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Martin Howe,
No.
Will Hyman,
Aye.
Mark Jackson,
Aye.
Wayne Worth,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Riffle,
Aye.
Mayor Malvern.
Aye.
Motion passed. New business, consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg to amend section 373.08 to permit police use of bicycles on sidewalks.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution of City Council of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, authorizing the execution of a FEMA Homeland Security Grant proposal and award.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion.
Maybe if Tiffany could explain this for the public so they fully understand.
This is for the radios for that grant that was applied for. Our grant manager is bringing this forward to ensure that everything is in line for that grant.
Can you give us the amount?
1 second, I'm just bringing it up. I'm sorry, well, my phone won't load, but I can get that out to you. It was in that spreadsheet, 60,000.
65.
And for clarification, this does not include the JAG grant related expenses that we spoke about for the last grant.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Yes, we're going to deviate from the agenda and go into council comments. Mr. Hyman?
I don't have a lot to say this evening. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll do it again in a week or two.
Mr. Jackson?
I would just like to say, I would like to thank the Public Works Department, the Police Department, and everyone did a great job on the city, the Clarksburg parade. You did a great job out there. For the folks from Buchanan Avenue who are here this evening, I just want you to understand that, the things that you're bringing up here aren't falling on deaf ears. So, it takes a while, things happen, but, we hear you. But thank you all for coming up here. Thank you for coming in and airing your concerns.
Councilman Howe?
Much either. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming out and appreciate you guys coming and congratulations.
Mr. Worth?
Yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out, voicing your concerns, and hopefully we could address those, accordingly and, and expeditiously. I really appreciated, Joe and Earl coming today from the DOH and sort of explaining that project. I think a lot of times with this project, we hear something over here and hear something over here. It's good to have the DOH here telling us this is what it is. And I sure hope even with the change in administration in 2024 that, we're still the number one priority, and I'll talk to our legislatures about that, keep pushing them no matter who's in there. So to make sure that's top priority too. Also, I want to thank all the volunteers, our public works, our police department, Tina Yoke with the CVB. Winterfest is such a big deal. I mean, probably in the last 3 years, it's not only the parade, brings out a lot of people, but the following day, I was talking with Tina, and she said that they were so busy here in downtown Clarksburg and Jackson Square on Saturday that the vendors were running out of product, which is a good problem. That was great to hear, and it's just going to keep on growing. And the amount of man hours that go into that, whether it's the city or the volunteers. I mean, you saw the volunteers in their yellow vests, trying to coordinate that parade. That's, it takes a whole community to make that happen. I always call it a public-private partnership, but volunteer city partnership. And I'll tell you, I've lived here in Clarksburg for 12 years, and we do really good at that. We really do. It's just great to see volunteers working with the city, on different things. So other than that, I love these city manager reports. I love the fact that, Public Works, always dominates a page. I mean, we have a 130-year-old, if not longer, infrastructure underneath us with sewer lines and stuff that need to be replaced, and they're on it. And they have great leadership, in that department with Johnny Workman, and I'm just really, really happy, to see all this. And also, our police department, 1,584 calls. I think people, really, really should recognize that, with the limited officers we have and stuff. I mean, 1,584 calls. That's a lot. So if you see a police officer, please thank them. I mean, it's a thanks job, and that's why I love these city manager reports, because you get to see exactly how the city is running. And of course, the Robinson Grand, and I don't think we give them enough credit because they're just doing so good down there anyway, and we just kind of expect that. But I tell you, I mean, if you look at the schedule, they pretty much have something almost every day down there, and they have a limited staff too, and they do a really good job. So other than that, those are, good things he's doing, and I'm glad to see all that happening, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. So, well, I'll see you one more time, and I wish you a Merry Christmas again. So, thanks.
Vice Mayor? I want to thank James and Law for coming tonight, and I'm glad we could show our recognition and appreciate what you guys have done. Having a business for 1 year is tough. Having a business for 5 years is tough. Over 100, it's just unreal to think about it. When you see how many businesses don't really work. I still enjoy going into your guys and buying things, especially like when it's Dr. Seuss week, in March. You guys always have Dr. Seuss things. There's a woman that works in there. I cannot remember her name. And she lives downtown, and I see her walking home every night, and she's so nice. I enjoy going in there not just to buy things, but just to see her and talk to her. She's super nice. I just like seeing her, being downtown and living downtown, and we don't have that as much anymore. So that's just something good to see, and I want to thank you for your, what you have done for the city. And Winterfest, as other people have said, it was great. My cousin Suzanne was actually the parade marshal, and she was well deserving. And I didn't even know she was getting that, so it had nothing to do with me. But she is well deserving, and
That's guilt right there, isn't it? Huh?
right there. So yeah, everything went great with the Winterfest. Even though the weather, people still come out, and it showed. You're able to go through bad weather, and you still show up as a community. It's good. It's a lot of work. Mady McNeamer, she volunteered to run the parade. she wasn't paid, and that's just over 130 groups not getting paid. Coordinating that, her personal phone number was out to all those people to call. That is just a lot. I hope she took a couple days, weeks, but she's a teacher actually, so she didn't take any time off, so she's right back in the middle of it. So I want to thank her, everybody else, Public Works, Police Department. Thank you for all of that. I would see Chief Kitty on a police bike on the sidewalk. I would like to see that. And my mom's birthday, she's in the back, so I want to say happy birthday to my mom. Yeah, everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you. Well, everybody says everything that I want to say. So, see something, say something. Pick up the phone and dial 911, please. Winterfest was great. The parade was great. It quit raining at 5:30, and people just came out in droves, and it was wonderfully attended. If anybody did not attend the Motor City at the Robinson Grand Sunday evening, it was fantastic. There was over 850 people there, and it was a good start to the Christmas season. And speaking of Christmas, we have a contest going on in the city, Christmas lights. So if you people have your home decorated and want to try to win, you can sign up online or call here to City Hall. And with that, I'll call for an adjournment.
No. We
Oh.
got returning to the order of the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Consideration of budget, consideration of payroll matters, and consideration of pending litigation.
I have a point of inquiry. Is the budget revisions, is that necessary to go into executive session with budget revisions?
This one is
I can
just,
understand the legal matters and personnel matters, but the budget revisions, I'm
this
have
budget,
concerns.
this set of budget revisions is only about personnel, and that's why it's in executive session.
Okay. So pursuant to Chapter 6, Article 9A, Section 4 of the West Virginia Code, I move that council adjourn into executive session to discuss legal matters and personnel matters, that the following persons be present: Mayor, members of council, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, finance director, payroll clerk, and we reserve the right to dismiss persons present when appropriate.
And if we could add the HR coordinator, I believe, is that correct?
And
Yes.
the human resources coordinator, excuse me.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to clear the chambers because we are staying in here because the city manager is redoing the conference room in the back. So appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
You're on the door.